Hello and welcome back to Typical City, everyone. This is your latest Manchester City news and transfer news as City become the most valuable football club in the world. This is a statement that has sent shockwaves around the world and driven green-eyed jealous monsters to go wild with speculation and myths that need to be pushed out and pumped into the media without any facts to actually back them up. There are plenty of individuals out there that this information harms them. It hurts them deeply, considering that they believe their clubs to be the most valuable clubs in the world, because who doesn't? In terms of value, I'm talking about £700 million worth of revenue for this season, and it's a remarkable achievement, a historic British record that has never been achieved. As the global game of football grows, City find themselves top of the pyramid, at the peak of the mountain that is football, and it is hurting a lot of people. There are individuals on social media, there are individuals in the main media. Piers Morgan's recent video, for example, that followed this news, and there are people that want to use the media as their source to drive their drivel and pump it out for everyone to lap it up, and all the City haters, they have to lap that up, and that's the only source of information they're given without any facts to actually back it up. And people regularly ask the question, well, why aren't City responding? Because we're bigger than you. We're better than you and we're bigger than you, and we have more pragmatic approaches to these things, are more of a legal sensed mind when approaching these things, to not slander other teams and other clubs, and to not be libelous in other situations like this. We're very calculated in the way we approach things, and we do our talking with facts. Like we do our talking on the pitch, we're going to do our talking in the courtroom. And it's going to be very clear as day. Maybe not soon. It might take a year. It might take 2 or 3 years before these allegations of cheats and financial doping are washed away. But the financial doping are years old now. That doesn't make it less relevant, and one day I'm confident we'll prove those to not be true, that we didn't financially dope the club, and that will just make today's news or yesterday's interview with Ferran Soriano, which I suggest you go and watch or read rather on the City website, where he goes into plenty of information about how this success happened. And it ultimately comes down to our success on the pitch. There is a few individuals in social media that do want to push the myths, and they say things like, there's no way that City could do this, and there's no way that City could do that, without actually following up on that information, without actually backing that up and providing facts to back up the no way. What is this no way? Why can't City have 120,000 fans as a waiting list for season ticket holders? Why can't City have the 5th highest attendance in the Premier League? Why? Why is that so unreasonable? Why does it seem to hurt people so much? It's because they have no other ammunition to harm City. There is no other ammunition to actually have a pop at us, because on the pitch, that's where we do our talking. We are impenetrable. There's not much you can say about us in football, because even the hard-nosed haters of Manchester City have to, with grimaced teeth and through, they're good, aren't they? They're bloody good, that City, aren't they? We're the best in the world, and they hate having to say it, so they try to attack us off the pitch and diminish our achievements on the pitch by attacking us off the pitch and stating things that they have no fans. And this is my first season without a season ticket holder. I've been a season ticket holder for 32 years, and this is the very first season now that almost very emotionally I had to turn down the renewal after 32 years of going to City, and it hurt me because I wanted to, for 2 main reasons, this being the main one. I want to focus on City content and making a YouTube channel like this that for you guys, for the City fans. And I really enjoyed doing it, as well as being closer to my family. But that's personal reasons. And I can testify, being a long-term season ticket holder, that we have the best fan base in the world. We had 28,000 season ticket holders going to the games in League Two when we were playing Gillingham and when we were getting spanked by York, you know, and drawing away to Mactown and in the down and dirty in the gutters of of the English pyramid of football. We were down there and they were supported loyally. There are plenty of other teams out there that would do the same. Sunderland springs to mind. They had a great fan base and still do while they're down there. And now to suggest that we don't have any fans when we come up is just ludicrous. And it's all they have. They live on the myths and we live on the facts, with the 5th highest Premier League attendance, and that's behind United, Arsenal, Tottenham and West Ham. Bloody good set of fans as well. West Ham have a soft spot for them, as do a lot of other City fans. A very good fan base, and that's ahead of Liverpool, mind you, and one of the individuals in particular that likes to spout nonsense about fans. We have a higher attendance. I'm sure Liverpool would fill their stadium more if they were to expand it, but that's the facts. We have a 120,000 fan waiting list, the same as United, mind you, and these are the same clubs that go to their grounds. And I remember Arsenal, when we beat them, I think we smashed them, and Leroy Sané had an unbelievable game. It was that game where they were boycotting it, but I mean, the place was just empty. It was just empty and embarrassing. And they talk about off-the-field fans and loyalty. You'd never get City fans boycotting the club. You support your team no matter what. So don't be diminishing our fans when you've got plenty of other problems at your own club. You need to look yourselves in the mirror and ask yourselves the questions: how good are we off the pitch? How good are we at operating a football club? How good are we in the terms of finances? Because you're behind City. And there are plenty of football clubs now that will be looking over their shoulders and praying that this white paper movement, which you need to go and investigate if you haven't already, and the timing of the white paper for the Premier League to become an independently self-regulated and independent regulation over this great league that we call the Premier League, we have to accept that it's not been working. We cannot police ourselves at the minute. So we need an independent regulator, and that's the white paper movement. And City are the only football club in the Premier League, out of Arsenal, Liverpool and United in particular, that voted for the white paper movement. Whereas those other 3 clubs, they voted against it. So if that's not an indication of where your interests lie, their interests are in self-preservation, as I'm sure ours are as well, but we understand the interest of fairness in the game. By voting for white paper, that is just purely fair, because if we wanted to promote ourselves, then the white paper movement would go against the grain of that logic. You'd have to go against it, whereas we want that regulation, and that helps the whole pyramid. Every single team will benefit from it. And if the white paper movement from this government process is introduced, I wouldn't be surprised if financial fair play is also looked at pretty sharpish after that happens. And it is an if at the minute. I'm still waiting to find out. And it's no coincidence that the Premier League charges that we faced came within 24 hours before the delay of the white paper movement. And that was to deflect away from the facts that the Premier League want to stay as the cartel, keep the big red clubs at the top and keep everyone else beneath them. It's too late. We're already in there. And I mean, this £700 million is something to be incredibly proud of. And Ferran Soriano himself has made some interesting comments. I've got them here for you. And this has been developing over the last decade, and it's based on the football that we play. Marketing plays a part, but it's ultimately down to the product. You have to have a good football team, and you don't, or you don't, and we have a good football team, and that plays good football and wins. That helps us sell more merchandise. To give you a number, in our club channels this season, that has just finished, we've sold 80% more than the previous season. But in the first few weeks of this season, we are selling over 80% more than the previous season again. As an example, in the 4 days after the Champions League final, we sold the same that we used to sell in a month, and that's in 4 days. That's incredible. It comes with winning and playing good football, and then naturally more people want to watch the game. More people want to buy merchandise. More companies want to associate with us, and that's answering the how are City getting the revenue? How are City getting these fans? How? I don't understand how. If you want to play, there are individuals out there that are very good at playing dumb. It comes naturally to them. But unfortunately, the facts are there. It's on the pitch. Success on the pitch brings success off the pitch. It really is as simple as that. We are winning, and we are signing icons. We've got 2 very opposing style of icons. You've got your Gucci style Grealish with his luxurious locks that get the women going, doesn't he? And even the young lads, and he's amazing with kids. He is an icon. Jack Grealish. I don't think his football is quite as good as it is his image off the pitch. I think he's got room for improvement. A quality player, don't get me wrong, he was immense. It's in particular the second half of last season, immense. But there's room for improvement with Jack Grealish. But off the pitch, he's an icon. He'll sell shirts. He'll grab the attention, in particular of the young generation. And that's something that you need to accept. Haaland is a very different type of icon. He's a very unusual figure physically. His very unusual style of football, the number of goals that he gets, the sheer brutishness of the way he plays the game and puts that ball in the back of the net. The way he plays the game, that is an icon. So we are signing icons. Same as David Beckham, same as Cristiano Ronaldo. These are icons that sell shirts. Now, United became fixated on that. They're still fixated on that. They still try and sign those blockbuster signings. They were hoping Pogba would be that, Ibrahimovic, and just names without thinking about it from a footballing pragmatic sense. They were thinking about it purely from a name and just selling shirts. And at the end of the day, if you think that the fan base is the sole source of revenue, then you are massively uneducated on how a football club runs, because there is no way the football fans, as important as they are a drop in the ocean for how finances work within a football club. They mean very, very little. The sponsorships that come in are the bread and butter. They are the nucleus of how this football club earns revenue. And on the pitch, we are succeeding. It is as simple as that. And if you're succeeding on the pitch, big brands want to associate themselves with success. And that's what's happening. And it's as simple as that. So continue to play dumb. Continue to act uneducated. I like to think you're not, because it's purely to appease your fan base and appease the myth that we have no fans and the myth that we are financial doping without any facts to back it up. Whereas City are doing their talking off the pitch. And we're doing our talking on the pitch as well. And we're going to do our talking in the courtroom very soon. I hope it's soon. I hope this doesn't drag on, because that is the one thing I think other fans are actually hoping this carries on. The longer this goes on, the more it suits them, the longer they get to continue the myth, because once we have proved our innocence, they have ran out of ammunition, because we are a success on the pitch and we earned that legally. And that is the key factor in this situation. And then they're just left counting empty seats which no longer exist, which is like, okay, you're just barking up the wrong tree. You're not even barking up the wrong tree, you're barking up the wrong fucking forest, because this team and this club has a full stadium every Premier League game, every Champions League game. You cannot get a ticket, and I can testify that when I tried to get my son a season ticket, how difficult it was for last season. And now that I've given up my season ticket, I guarantee you there'll be someone in my seat biting my arm off at the shoulder to get my season ticket. And there are thousands of fans across the world that would do the same to get a one chance to go to a City game. And I think you need to respect that now. I think the time has come now to respect that City are a big player. We are not a small fish in a big ocean anymore. We are a shark, a big blue shark, and we're chomping our way through all of the fishes in that sea. And we're very, very good at it, and we are continuing to be good at it. But City fans, I would love to hear your thoughts on this revenue stream, the 700 million. It can only mean good news. What do you think about the charges? When do you want to see them addressed? As soon as possible, I like to think. And do you think they will be addressed? Do you think they'll be dragged out for years to come, and people will continue to put asterisks next to our achievements, which we'll rub out ourselves? We know, we celebrate amongst ourselves. We know how it feels to win a treble. There are very few clubs out there, in fact a treble, because we've got an EDS squad that won 3 in a row, and we've got the under-18s that won three equivalent Premier Leagues in the under-18 Premier Leagues in a row. So throughout the club, it's just oozing success. But let me know your thoughts, Blues. How does this make you feel? Get in the comments below, like and subscribe. Typical City is the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is typical City now, holding up silver.